I raised a child for 15 years, and then a DNA test showed I wasn't the father. Now her real father wants to come into her life. I'm 48. I live in Salt Lake City, working as a mechanic at a local auto repair shop I opened 20 years ago. Life is simple, stable. My daughter, Emily, is 15. We've always been close. Even when she started dressing darkly as a teenager, listening to music that made me scream, and saying, "You don't understand anything." We still made pancakes together on Sundays, watched old movies, and she called me daddy, with such a tinge that I knew it wasn't just a word. It was a choice. Her mother, Christine, and I split up when Emily was 3. Not because of cheating, not because of lies, just because we fell out of love. We stayed in touch. She moved to Portland, but Emily spent half her time with me. I paid child support, helped with school, went to every performance, every game. I didn't just raise her. I was her father. And then it all fell apart because of one mistake. My brother Mike got sick. Seriously. The doctors said he needed a transplant. But first, a family compatibility check. We all took DNA tests. Me, my mother, my sister. Even Christine let me take a sample from Emily. Asterisk for comparison, if needed. Asterisk. A week later, the letter arrived. DNA test results. Person, Alex R. Person, Emily R. Conclusion, biological relationship between father and child, excluded. Match rate, 0.3%, standard for paternity, 99.9%, asterisk asterisk. I read this 3 times. Then again, and again, and again. It's like the more you read, the more likely it is that there is a mistake. But there wasn't one. I called the lab. Are you sure? Yes. The data is clear. You are not Emily R.'s biological father. But I am her father. I raised her. I have been with her since birth. We are analyzing DNA, they said. Not history. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if my heart would break, or if it would just stop beating. An hour later I called Christine. Did you know? I asked. Did you know I wasn't the father? Silence. Alex, she said. I didn't want you to find out like that. But you did know. Yes, she said. I found out a month after she was born. I took the test, but I couldn't tell. You were already her father. You loved her. And I didn't want to ruin what we had. But that's a lie. That's 15 years of lies. I didn't lie, she said. I just didn't tell the truth. But you were her father, and you're better than him. Who is he? The man I dated before you. For a long time. But he didn't want children. When I said I was pregnant, he disappeared. And I decided, it's better for her to have a father who loves her than one who abandoned her. But that's not your choice. I said, this is my life. My daughter. And now I find out that nothing was real. Everything was real, she said. Only not biologically. 3 days later she wrote. He found out. I didn't tell. But his sister works in the lab. She saw the name. And he found me. He wants to meet Emily. He says he's ready now. I sat there, wondering if this was the end, or the beginning of something worse. Because now not only do I know I'm not the father, but he, the one who really is her father, wants to enter the life that I've spent 15 years building. And I don't know if I can let this happen, or if I can watch another man become the person I thought I always was. I didn't want to see her, but I knew that if I didn't feel the truth from her, I would destroy myself. We met in a cafe on the outskirts of the city, not where we usually were together, not where she showed me the ultrasound when she was pregnant. It was strict, simple, without memories. She came earlier. She sat, holding her coffee. She looked at me, and there was more than just guilt in her eyes. It was scary. Thank you for coming, she said. Not for you, I said, but for Emily. I want to know who he is, and why you think he deserves her now. She took a deep breath. His name is David. We were together for 3 years. That was before you. He was an architect. Smart. Charismatic. But he didn't want children. When I told him I was pregnant, he said, I'm not ready. And I won't be. And he disappeared. No calls. No letters. Nothing. But now he wants to come back. Yes. His sister works at the same lab where the test was done. She saw the name read, contacted me, and told him. He found me. We talked. And he said, I want to know who she is. And I want to be a father now. Now, I said, after 15 years, when she's not a baby anymore, when she doesn't need nighttime feedings anymore, but needs explanations, who is he? He says he's grown up, she said. That he lost his father last year. That it's changed him. That he's no longer afraid to be a father. But he's afraid he was your husband, I said. So he dumped you. And now he wants to be your father. I'm not excusing him, she said. But he's the biological father. And he has a right to know her. And she has a right to know who he is. What about the one who was with her from the beginning? I asked. Who taught her to walk? Who held her when she cried? Who paid for the doctors, the school, the sneakers she tears up in 2 weeks? He doesn't deny that you're her father, she said. But he wants to be a part of her life. Not instead of you, but together. That's a lie, I said. He wants to be a real father. I'm going to be the one I thought I was. She fell silent. He wants to meet, she said. Not right away. Not as a father. As a person who wants to meet. Did you let me? Not yet. But she has a right to know the truth. And me? I asked. What about my right? I didn't just raise. I was her father. And now they're throwing me out like an old car, because they found an original part. Alex, she said quietly, you're not a throwaway. But she has a right to know where she comes from. Who she is genetically. Does she have sisters, brothers? Is there a predisposition to diseases? This isn't about replacing you. This is about giving her the full story. And my story? I asked. Isn't it important? It's the most important, she said. But she's not the only one. I didn't answer. I looked out the window. There was a girl walking by who looked like Emily, holding a man's hand. He was laughing. So was she. And in that moment I realized, I'm not afraid that she'll fall in love with him. I'm afraid that she'll start to doubt herself, her worth, who she is. And then Christine said, he's offering to do another test. Not for the court, but for her, so that she can figure out who she is. And so that you know, this isn't about doubting you. It's about her having a choice. And you want me to agree? I want you to think not about your pain, but about her future. I stood up. I don't agree, but I'm not saying no. I want to talk to her. Emily, before anyone says a word. She has a right to know, Christine said. Yes, I said. But a right to know is not the same as needs to know now. And I won't let anyone use her as a bridge between my past and my new life. I left, without looking back. But I already knew. This wasn't about biology. This was about who had the right to call themselves a father. And could one word destroy 15 years of love? I couldn't call. I couldn't write. I couldn't just say, come. Because what I had to say couldn't be said in a message. But it couldn't be said in her mother's presence either. I invited her fishing. Our tradition since childhood. Every summer. A lake, a boat, a thermos of coffee, her old baseball cap that she never takes off. She came with a smile. Dad, you're up to something, she said. You never invite me fishing on Wednesday. Yes, I said. But today it's not about fish. We got into the boat. We sailed away from shore. Silence. Only the waves crashing against the side. And the clock ticking away. Do you know that I've always loved you? I asked. Yes, she said. And I you. And you know that I have always been your father? Yes. Even when I said that I hated you for not allowing the phone after 10 p.m. I smiled. But my heart ached. But there is one thing that you do not know, I said. And I do not know how to say it. So I will simply say, I'm not your biological father. She fell silent. She was not surprised. She did not cry. She just looked at me. What? A DNA test. My brother got sick. We all took tests. And they showed that I was not your father. But you were with me since birth, she said. You held me when I was born. Mom said. Yes, I said. But I wasn't the man who. I couldn't say conceived. Who was with your mother then? She didn't tell me. I thought you were mine. And I always thought so. And I always felt that way. And who is he? The man she was with before me. His name is David. He didn't want children. When he found out she was pregnant, he disappeared. And now, 15 years later, he wants to meet you. She turned away. She looked at the water. Her hand was shaking. So, I'm not yours. You are mine, I said. Not because of DNA. Because I was with you. Because I taught you to walk. Because I cried the first time you said daddy. Because I protected you at school when the boys teased you. Because I love you, not despite it, but with it. But, who am I now? She asked. If not if he's my father, who am I? You're Emily, I said. The girl who hates math but writes beautiful poetry. Who's afraid of spiders but has learned to jump from a trampoline. Who listens to music that makes me lose my hearing but always puts it on when I come over. You're my daughter, not by blood, by choice. And my choice is to remain your father. Even if you decide to get to know him, even if you start calling him Dad, I won't disappear. I'll stay. If you let me. She cried, not loudly, and like someone who loses the ground under their feet. I don't want to lose you, she said. Even if you're not, biologically. You're not losing me, I said. But I understand that you have a right to know him, and I won't get in the way. But I ask one thing. Don't let this ruin what we have. You're not a mistake. You're not a waste of someone's time. You're the person I choose every day. And I choose again. She hugged me, very tightly, and said, "You've always been my dad, and no one could change that." We sat for a long time, not talking, just looking at the lake. And I knew, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something difficult. But if she wants to meet him, I will help. Not because he has the right, but because she has the right to choose. And I will remain the one who stands by her side, even if she goes ahead. Because a father is not the one who gave life. He is the one who gives himself. We agreed to meet. Not right away. A week after talking to Emily. I wanted her to have time. For it to be her choice. Not my decision. Not Christine's. Not the DNA. But her. She said, "I want to know who he is. Not because I doubt you. But because I want to know where I'm from. And do I have any sisters, brothers? Am I the only one?" I agreed. But I set a condition. The meeting. In a public place. A cafe. On the street. No pressure. No emotional blackmail. And no drama. I called David. Not with contempt. Not with anger. But as a person who wants to understand what awaits my daughter. "We want to meet," I said. "But on our terms. I will be there. Open up. You shouldn't try to replace me." "I don't want to replace," he said. "I want to be a part." "Okay," I said. "Then come alone. Or at least without the kids. This is her first step. Not your show." "I'll come with my wife," he said. "And the kids. They know. And they want to meet her." I paused. "Are you angry?" "Yes," I said. "You disappeared when her mother said she was pregnant. And now you come with your perfect family, like in an advertisement, and you want her to fit into your life." "She's a part of it," he said. "And I don't want her to feel like an outsider." "But she already has a family," I said. "And you have no right to demand that she choose." "I don't demand," he said. "I'm inviting." I couldn't refuse. Not because he had the right, but because Emily said, "I want to know who he is. And if he has children, I want to know if I have brothers or sisters." We met in the park. Sunny. Children were playing. The air smelled of spring. I could see them from afar. David was tall, well-dressed, with the same smile I had seen in Christine's photo. His wife was next to him, calm, confident, and 2 children, a girl about 6 and a boy about 4. And next to him was another girl, a year younger than Emily. Same shape of nose. Same location of the mole on her neck. My daughter froze. "Is that her?" she whispered. "My sister." I nodded. I couldn't speak. They came over. David smiled. "Hi, Emily. Thanks for coming." She didn't answer. He looked at the girl. "This is Lila," he said. "Your sister is 14. And these are my children from my second marriage." Emily looked at me. Her eyes were full of pain. "He has another daughter? And she's older than me? But he didn't know about me?" "Yes," I said quietly. "He lived a different life. And you were crossed out." David came closer. "I don't know how to fix this," he said. "But I want you to know that you're not a mistake. You're a part of me. And I want you to be a part of us." "Us?" Emily said. "Do you want me to be a part of your new family? Like a secret you've been keeping?" "No," he said. "I want you to be." He paused, searching for a word. "Restored." "What about the person who raised me?" she asked, looking at me. "What about Dad?" Silence. "He'll always be your dad," David said. "But I'm your father. And I don't want you to lose either of us." Emily turned away. She walked over to the bench. She sat down. She cried. I walked over. I sat down next to her. "You don't have to accept this," I said. "You don't have to accept him. His wife. His children. You have the right to say, 'I don't want this life.'" "But I have a sister," she said. "And she knows who her father is. And I don't know who mine is now." "You know," I said, "your dad is the one who was with you, who taught you to walk, who held you when you cried, who loved you, not because of your DNA, but because you are." She looked at me, and in that moment I realized she hadn't lost me, but she was losing herself, and now I was supposed to be the one to help her find herself again. 2 months passed. Emily hadn't seen David since that meeting. He wrote. He suggested meeting just the 2 of us. He suggested doing another DNA test for her. He suggested meeting with Lila, her sister, separately. She didn't answer. And then one evening she said, I want to talk to him. Not in the park. Not with his family. Just him and me. And you with me. Are you ready? No, she said. But I don't want to run away. I want to know who he is. Not as the advertising father, but as the person who dumped me. We arranged to meet at a cafe. Just the two of them. I was sitting at the next table. I wasn't eavesdropping. But I saw. She asked, why didn't you come when Mom said she was pregnant? I was scared, he said. I didn't want children. I thought it would ruin my life. And when she said it, I ran away. And now I've lost my father. And I've realized that family is not what you plan. It's what you choose. And I choose you. But you've already chosen another family. She said, you've chosen a woman, children, a perfect life. And I'm the mistake you're now trying to fix. No, he said, you're not a mistake. You're part of the past that I couldn't accept. And now it's not you I want to fix. I want to fix myself. She was silent for a long time. I don't want to be a part of your life, she said. Not with your wife. Not with your children. Not as a special guest. I want to know where I come from. Do I have a predisposition to illness? Do I have a sister who wants to know me? Not as a child from the past, but as a person. Yes, he said. Lila wants to meet. Not with her father's blessing, but as a friend. As a sister. Then I'll talk to her, she said. But you won't be there. He nodded. He didn't object. He simply said, thank you for giving me the chance to tell the truth. She turned to me. Sela, he doesn't deserve you, I said. Maybe, she said. But I deserve the truth. And my sister. And you deserve to be told. You are my dad. And no one can change that. I couldn't speak. I just hugged her. A week later, she met Lila. Without her father. In the park. We talked for 3 hours. Laughed. Cried. Shared dreams. Photos. Favorite songs. And when she came back, she said, she looks like me. Not only in appearance, but also in the way she laughs. How she's afraid of spiders. How she writes poetry. And what next? I want to meet her. But not with him. Not as family. As sisters. And I want you to know. Nothing has changed. You are my dad. And this is not negotiable. I nodded. And at that moment I understood. I didn't lose her. I wasn't replaceable. I was chosen. Every day. Every dad. Every hug. And a month later she brought a little album. In it, a photo with Lila. A photo with me. A photo with my mother. And the inscription on the first page. My family. Not by blood. By choice. And when I read this, I knew. This is not the end. This is not the beginning. This is life. Not perfect. Not simple. But real. And I decided. I will no longer be afraid of words. I will not be afraid of the past. Because a father is not someone who gives life. Gives himself. And I give. Every day. Until the end.